A party in the dust and the sand. Chip on your shoulder, sweat and dirt on your hands. Machines and slumber start to lumber outside. Head full of numbers, see the colors collide. Search safest sanctuary, dropping them dollars on you, thank you very much. By the way, no refunds, back into the boneyard, badlands we run. I saw a siren singing, shifting through the shots, a ringing, frying, burning, guts a stinging, bringing you the pain. Come on down and join the party tonight. We ain't the kind to turn away from a fight. Chips on the shoulders, sweat and dirt on our hands, 'cause we're breaking down the borders as we light up the land, yeah! You ain't a skag, are you? Old TK's Jack is just a derelict shell. Ain't nothing left now but his notes and the smell. He used to watch over the fire and the stone. Fan fiction told me that he died all alone. Splash, bang, so corrosive, don't get close if it's explosive. Flash, gang, caustic crew, simmer and smoke in electric blue. His goes to radio, vicious, malicious.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another painting stream. Hello, friends. I am Thanatos, and I'm mostly out of frame. There we go. Hey, folks. Welcome. I am Thanatos, also known as Andrew, whatever. And this is my painting stream where I paint minis and hang out with my friends in chat. Good morning, Lobster. I hope things are cooler out there than they are here. We are into day 3, so it is officially a heat wave now. It was 100 degrees when I got in my car to go to work yesterday. Not a fan. But we have air conditioning because, we live on the East Coast and this is normal. It's normal for August, really. It's not normal for June, but whatever. Anyways, welcome. Cool and comfy there. Nice. So I have some news, but I think I'm going to wait until maybe some other folks show up. So if anybody else shows up in chat, we'll talk about news. In the meantime, I'm going to do some more painting. Let's go over to Zoom Cam, which is not as zoomy as it normally is because I had to extend the shot so that I could fit some of the larger terrain that I'm working on onto screen. So yesterday we worked on a little bit of this, got a little bit of the pillars and stuff here painted. We're going to see if we can do this side of this today. maybe wrap around to the other side, do a little bit more. We'll see what we can get done. But before we do that, let's work on a couple of the smaller pieces. We're done with the little fountains. So there's two of these little fountains. I'm still curious to know if the resin is going to go from this very milky, non-transparent back to the clear that it was before. I think it may have permanently been altered by the heat. It was clear right up until the heat wave got bad, and then it turned milky, and I think that just may be permanently the way it is. Yesterday we did a wash on one side of each of these little platform things. We'll do more work on those probably tomorrow. Today I want to finish this piece, this little tiny wall. It just needs some highlights, and I've been using the green flocking to make it look like it's got moss growing on it, which makes it a really nice accent. And I want to do some highlights on these little things. You'll note that the gloss, or the Agrex Earthshade that I applied, is more glossy than normal. And I suspect, again, this is a humidity and temperature thing. So that's an interesting thing, that on a hotter and moister day, the Nuln Oil, or the Agrex Earthshade, the wash goes on a little bit more glossy. Curious. But yeah, let's do a little bit of highlighting on these, just to make them pop a little bit, and then we'll just sort of call them done. Yeah, Amanda, I remember the Starship Samurai figures that came out looking different than you had intended. Because of the humidity. So, I could wish that I had a more controlled environment in which to paint, but I don't, so that's fine. So we're gonna just use a little bit of off-white here. The glossiness actually works really well for the pots. I actually want to keep that gloss because I think it looks really good. I don't know if you folks can see it, but they're quite shiny now. I'm not a fan of it on the skulls and stuff, and on the pillar, but it is what it is. We're just going to do a little bit of dry brushing to do some highlights on those skulls and pillars. I'm going to wait to do the flocking piece until the end of the stream, because it makes a huge mess. That is definitely something I have discovered, is that when I do that, adding the flocking to do the moss, I don't know, I am not neat enough, and the flocking itself is treacherous, and it just gets everywhere on my desk. Okay, let's start with just some little dry brushing to get some edges in here. Oops, a little heavy there. It's fine. It's not like this is a important piece. It is a small, random piece of terrain, which is why I felt comfortable messing around and doing some fun stuff with the little pots there. So it doesn't have to look great. Just want it to look a little less flat. I make a brush on matte clear sealant. I've got the spray on sealant. A little bit of white on these skulls to make it a sort of a bleached look when you do that. Yeah, very basic. I'm going to do a little bit of rust on there as well. But yeah, these are pretty much done. I might hit them with a matte sealer and then brush on a gloss onto the pots. Just to keep that glossy look. So who all is in chat today? I saw Amanda, obviously. Thank you, Amanda, for being here. And I saw Lobster of Revenge. That's probably it today, right? So I might as well spill the beans, get to my exciting news. The exciting news is that I have been invited to join the Twitch affiliate program. What this means for you, my viewers, is that soon I will be able to allow people to subscribe to the channel. You'll get sub badges. Gonna do some visual updates to the channel. And we're going to be adding some features to the chat bot. So this is, a lot of it is behind the scenes stuff. I have to spend some time tomorrow crossing my I's and dotting my T's, so to speak, to get everything in line to make this a successful transition. But I'm really excited. This is something that I've been working towards for a couple of months. What made the difference was Community Art Day, really, because that's the day when we had a bunch of people come in and drop follows and stuff. And it's also the day that I had the highest viewership this channel has had so far. So having some of the lower viewer days before Community Art Day drop off, and having that day sort of roll into its position as the highest viewership for this stream resulted in me hitting that elusive goal I needed to get the Twitch affiliate. So it's really exciting. Aw, thanks, Lobster. Yeah, I'm gonna try and reach out to some of my less tech savvy or less Twitch savvy friends and relatives who have Amazon Prime subscriptions and see if they'd be willing to give me some of Jeff Bezos' money. Primarily, I don't anticipate this being like a side hustle for me or a source of funds. It's going to continue to be just sort of something fun that I do. I'll probably... Well, I have some plans for stuff to do with the channel that you'll see over the next few weeks. But for the most part, funds that I get from subscriptions and such are going to go towards better equipment and better cameras, stuff to make the stream more entertaining for my viewers. We'll see how things go. But I'm just excited to have hit that benchmark. It took some persistence, and obviously I really appreciate you, my viewers, who made it possible to reach this point. And I hope that I can be worthy of that. I'm going to do a lot more exciting painting projects and play with a lot of fun techniques and try to continue to improve my painting skill. Yay, yeah, celebration. Because I post so many pictures to Facebook of projects that I'm working on, Facebook has started recommending painting groups, Warhammer painting groups. And it definitely drives home just how much there is for me still to learn. Because I look at some of the astonishing work that people do, and I'm like, wow, I am not that level yet. But it also is a source of ideas. I look at the stuff on this in these groups, and I'm like, oh, this is some gorgeous, gorgeous work that people are doing, and it inspires me. All right, I think I'm done with these. Aside from, like I said, I'm going to do a matte varnish on them, and then I'm going to add some gloss to these pots here. But I think those two pieces are done. So we'll move those to the done pile. Excellent. I'd like to move this to the done pile today as well. So let's add some highlights to that too. I'm looking forward to Community Art Day next Monday. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. The plans that I have for that orc mini, like I said, they're very ambitious. But that just makes them more fun. Who knows how it'll end up looking? But I hope folks will join me for that as I mess around with that orc figure. And if anybody wants to post pictures in the Discord of artwork that you would like to be highlighted on Community Art Day, I will try to show those off. Is my stream really... I feel like I'm losing a lot of frames. Maybe it's just me. Eh. I guess me getting affiliate is going to break the internet. I feel like I've gotten better at this dry brushing thing. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, I suspect my internet is just laggy today. It's whatever. Not much I can do about that. Oops. So early on, when I was trying to learn how to do dry brushing, I think I wasn't doing it with a color that contrasted enough. So that's my takeaway for dry brushing is it's a great way to add highlights to a model, but you can't do it in, it has to, you want it to be subtle, but not too subtle. So here I'm using, this is a deck tan with a brown wash over it, and then I'm doing the dry brushing with off-white, which is actually a very bright white. It's called off-white, but it's actually much brighter. You can see here on my palette, this is the base, and that's the white that I'm adding on. So the result is that these highlights that I'm putting in are much brighter than the base coat under it, and that gives a good contrast. And that contrast is really the key, I think. And then it's just sort of trying to apply it in a manner that's subtle enough that it doesn't look unnatural. But it adds that extra sort of depth to the model. it's a scale thing too. The eye interprets the model differently when it's got that extra, that contrast between the brights and the darks. It makes the model appear less itty-bitty, really. Because I don't know how much it comes across, just how small some of these models are. I mean, you can see my hands, obviously, in the frame. I remember early on when I was working at the store, seeing people posting pictures of some of the models and not really understanding the scale that people were working at. And that is a testament to the skill of the painters, is that the model appears larger when you can get right in and take some detailed pictures of it, and it looks as if perhaps it's a 16-inch tall model and it's only a couple inches tall. That's definitely a testament to the ability of the people who are working on it. I don't think I'm that good a painter yet. This whole stream is about gaining that skill and testing myself and pushing my limits, like I always say. But I'm picking up hints. So yeah, my piece of advice to you is, if you decide to do this sort of dry brushing and edging, do something that contrasts sharply with the base to make it really come across. So on the other small wall, I did this rust color on the bricks here. Just to make them look a little more brick-like, a little less stony, and also add a little bit of color to the model. I want it kind of subtle. And then we'll add the moss as the last thing we do in today's stream, so that this can be moved again with the others to the done pile. Always nice to be able to count things as completed, right? I have sad news for you, chat. You remember the terrain piece that I painted a while back that was the one with the big bell and the stairs and the two skeletons dangling in cages from it? I don't know if you recall, chat, that I had to reinforce and re-glue one of the skeleton cages because it dropped off. Well, once I had delivered the piece to the store, the other skeleton dropped off. So I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time reinforcing that skeleton and gluing it back on. It is definitely a point of failure for that model. I'm not shocked that it happened, and I don't blame like folks at the store for mishandling it or anything. I think it's just that particular model has a weak point, which is where those skeletons are attached to it. Alright. That piece is pretty much done. So I have to remember when I go to work today, bring a little bit of thread, because that's what I used last time, was I glued some thread to the model to add some reinforcement. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, the chain. I mean, obviously it's not metal. It's plastic. It's just a tiny little plastic thing sculpted to look like a chain, so it's not surprising that it's a weak point. Shall we attempt, chat, to do some highlighting on this as well? And then we'll work on the large terrain. This also came out very glossy. This is what I'm talking about with this highlighting. I feel like this brown is not enough of a contrast. So I'm adding a little bit of highlighting here, and it's lighter than the brown around it, but not light enough. What can I do that will be sort of a good contrast? I don't want to do just flat out white. Let's try this very light cork brown and see how that looks. That's not awful. Yeah, that'll do. It's not as dramatic as the white on gray. But it definitely does make a highlight there. Again, I'm going to be attacking this with a matte varnish, because right now it is very shiny. But I think this is giving it a little bit of depth, making it pop a little bit. Too much, too much. Sure. Okay. Let's do the other one. And then we'll get to work on the large terrain again. Spend too much time on this. This is a very perfunctory piece of sculpting, but it will probably see some use on the table. So, might as well. Do what I can to make the model look presentable. Still worry that this isn't enough of a contrast, but it's fine for this. Bit of hair caught in the brush there. That'll happen. So tomorrow I'll do a wash on the other side of these. Okay. Pretty good. It'll do. All right. Well, having done all of that work, I've moved a couple of pieces closer to done. I want to try and preserve this brush if I can. I don't know if you folks can see just how many different colors are caught in the bristles now, but the brush is actually holding up pretty well. All right, back to this. This is why I bought an extra entire pot of this deck tan. So these pieces are so large, and there's so much of this. Actually, you know what? I want to get this, because that's annoying me. There's a little bit of brown there. I'm just going to very quickly hit that with some gray. Got a little bit of brown on the top there. That'll do. All right, deck tan time. And we'll see how much of this we can get done in the remaining hour or so that I've got in today's stream. This is where the monotony sets in. Watch is getting caught on the water. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this whole terrain piece this week, but I'm going to make a good try at it. Now remember, there's 4 of these, just large wall pieces that I have to get completed. So it's going to take a while. We talked yesterday about the fact that they're very repetitive in their sculpt. It's the same shapes repeated over and over again. are an essential part of the game. Can't do tactical combat if you don't have cover. So I'd like to have walls that match the aesthetic of everything else that I've painted. I had one of the regulars at the Abington store pay me the nicest compliment yesterday. I showed him the Raptorix and Furies that I had painted for the Warcry demo, and he was like, "Oh my god, is this like a side job for you? Is this what are you earning money doing this?" And I was like, "No, these are just the store demo copies that I painted up." He's not a Warhammer player, so he's not looking at them with the critical eye of a Warhammer painter. But it was still nice to have him give me that compliment. I recognize that I am not at a professional level, so to speak, for this. Like, people who do commission work, are not as slow as I am. They have techniques and abilities that allow them to do this work considerably faster. And B, have had a lot more practice than I have, and have some better technique than I have. I don't really have ambitions to do commission work. I'm happy just to be doing this stream, hanging out, painting. I know a popular thing is to say, find a passion and make that your work, and then you won't work a day. And I have sort of done that. I mean, my job at the store is largely retail, which is, I've spent a large part of my adult life working in retail. So I've had a lot of practice at that. And it is still work. It is still a job. But I do have a passion for games, and it provides me an opportunity to talk with people about games and stuff. But I don't think I would want to make my painting a source of, like, revenue. I don't want to make it work. I enjoy doing this stream, and I enjoy hanging out with you folks in chat, and I enjoy trying new things and trying to improve my ability as a painter, and I'm satisfied with that. I don't need to make it a commercial thing. And I realize that's an ironic thing to say on the same day that I'm celebrating the fact that I'm going to become affiliate with this. But really, crunching the numbers, affiliate on Twitch, unless you're in the thousands of subscribers, is not a reliable source of revenue. It is not a potential job. What is this? There's like a fuzzy stuck in the model there. Time to get my tweezers. You see that, chat? What is that? Huh. It looks like a bit of foam. Maybe packing foam from something that I transported this with. I hope that people are going to have fun playing with these pieces. Like, I hope they're going to provide people at the store with some entertainment. I think the terrain is likely to see a lot more work than the minis, because although it is part of this Warcry set, there's nothing specific to Warcry. I mean, it's got these Stormcast figures carved into these pillars, so it definitely is a Warhammer Fantasy or, you know, Age of Sigmar thing. But I think it's just good terrain in general. And the store can always use more terrain. So I anticipate people will pull this stuff out and put it on tables, hopefully, for many years to come. And they may not know where it came from. They may never watch these streams and see it being painted. But hopefully it will provide some enjoyment for some people for many years to come. Concentrating on getting these edges as clean as I can make them. Because I'm not going to be painting the brick portions here. I'm going to rely on a wash and some dry brushing to give the brick its character. But that just means I want the edges to be as sharp as I can make them. A wash will cover any number of sins. So when I get in here with a wash, it's going to obscure some of the bleps that I've made outside of the lines, so to speak. I'd rather it doesn't have to work that hard. Definitely getting a lot of bubbles here. Oh well. Okay. Making progress. I wonder what techniques I could use to speed this process up. Like if I had an airbrush and could airbrush this, how would I do it in a way that would satisfy me? I'd probably want to block off like areas that I didn't want painted. It'd be kind of tricky. Like, I don't know that I could do quite what I'm doing with an airbrush. It's good for getting a large volume of paint on quickly. It's also good for doing cool shading techniques. But I don't think it's good for this kind of precision. So I'd have to be satisfied with a different sort of look if I was going to be doing this faster and with an airbrush. I wouldn't be able to do this like what I'm doing right now. So it would be a completely different appearance to the piece. Something I have to do at work is work on our demo station. Now that I've got two and a half games that I've got fully painted demos for. I need to coordinate with Derek and get a dedicated demo space and a place to keep these painted demos. Something we don't currently have. Right now they're just sort of sitting on a box behind the counter. It's not a good long-term solution. Especially not when I keep adding new demos to the pile. Like, I'm not gonna paint them, but I've been working on the Age of Sigmar Dominion box, assembling it at the store between customers and stuff. So that's another demo. And then next month, I'm going to be working on Marvel Crisis Protocol. So that's another demo. We need a nice place to store and display all of these demos, and a way to quickly bring them out so that we can show them off to people and actually demo the games. Like, it's all well and good to have all these things painted up, but there's not much point in it if we don't actually have some quick you wouldn't want to play a full game, but a way to sort of introduce the core mechanics so that people who are unfamiliar with them can quickly learn what the idea of the game is. I'll work with folks at the store to come up with sort of demo scenarios that we can quickly run. This is where I need help from Kevin and Serena and the other Warhammer regulars. Is to generate demo content for all the pieces that I'm painting. Man, I am making such a mess. Oh well. Maybe slightly inevitable when I'm trying to get as much done as quickly as I can. I can keep this pace going. I feel like I should be able to finish this side of this piece today. And then if I can do the other side of the piece tomorrow, I can do a wash on Friday. Won't get to highlights this week, but I'll have this piece pretty close to done by the end of the week if I can keep up this pace. Every piece I complete is another little feather in my cap, another accomplishment. Takes me a week to do one of these. I don't know. I'll do them between projects. Like, I'm not going to dedicate an entire month to doing nothing but walls. That's just really dull. What I'll do instead is maybe once per month I'll pull out one of these pieces and spend some time on it. Or maybe I'll do some of this off stream. Right? I don't have to do all of this on stream. It's not like I'm showing off any cool new techniques or doing anything particularly interesting. It's just busy work. Doesn't need to be streamed. So maybe completing one of these on stream, and I'll see if I can carve out the time to do the rest of them off stream, so just so I can finish them all, get them ready to go to the tables at Battleground. I want to be able to dedicate more time to doing cool projects, less time to monotony. Definitely one thing I'll say about myself, something that I know well about myself, is that I am easily distracted by new and shiny objects. So too easy to get distracted from a project like this that is like I said, monotonous. Oh, my legs. do like doing some of these little details. I like the finished effect. It's just there's so much of this. It goes on and on. I'll tell you frankly, chat, the idea of doing this 3 more times after I've finished this wall, whew, it's a lot. Just have to keep reminding myself, this is gonna make somebody happy. This is gonna improve somebody's enjoyment of the game to have this terrain available at the store. Okay. Thinking about the Age of Sigmar models that I've been working on, and what is the fastest, easiest way to get a little bit of paint on them. I primed the Stormcast Eternal figures for the new Dominion set, which I've finished building. I spent some time yesterday patching them with liquid green stuff because there were some gaps. The models for 3 of the Stormcast Eternals have joins in their capes. So in a space that should be a broad, flat space, there's the join where the model is glued together. And it was, on one of them, they didn't go completely together, and I ended up with a gap that I needed to spackle. And I did some sanding and just tried to make the gaps less obvious. I don't know how successful I was. I am not an expert at sculpting. So yeah, I did that, and then I primed them using lead belcher, which is a silvery gun metal gray. And my plan is to use just contrast paints for highlights to give them more of a implication of color than actually spend time thoroughly painting them. So I want to paint some areas with some blues, just using thin layers of contrast paint blues, and add some gold highlights, and leave a lot of silver showing. I don't know. I'm afraid that once I start painting them, I'm going to be dissatisfied with the result and be like, oh god, now I have to paint them. And I do not have time to paint like 40 minis. We'll see what I'm able to accomplish in a relatively short span of time. I mean, maybe it's better just to leave them primed and unpainted. Once I put paint on one of them, I can't really go back. So I have to make some decisions with that. Maybe I'll try, before I try contrasts, maybe I'll try just some washes on the silver and see what that looks like. I've got to finish building all the orcs before I think about that, I think. I've only gotten 4 orcs done so far. I wanted to do more yesterday, but it got busy right at the end of the day. Very weird. Need more paint. Coffee. This is definitely a place where you're not supposed to look at the bottom of the model. Most GW stuff is viewable from pretty much any angle, but these particular terrain pieces, the bottoms of the stone work around the top here is just hollow and empty, you can see. So we'll just ignore that. Don't have to look at the bottom. Some larger pillars here around this middle grate. I will say, as is often the case, this sort of monotonous, almost mind-numbing work, where you're doing the same thing over and over again, even when you're trying to do a little bit of precision, is a great way to stop your mind racing. This is just busy enough that I'm not allowing my mind to wander too much. So it keeps my brain occupied with what I'm painting and distracts me from sort of horror of day-to-day life these days. And that's good. I hope that for you, my viewers, it has a similar effect. That this is a calming thing, that you can come here to this channel and just have these peaceful moments. Just watch me very, very slowly add paint to a model and that having something simple and constructive to watch without a lot of noise or excitement can just be a pleasant way to while away a little bit of time. Yep. Bumping into my camera. Some progress today, though. There's definitely more paint on this model now than there was when we started. So that's good, right? Tom Sawyer would be proud? No, he wouldn't. Tom Sawyer would have convinced somebody else to do this work. Look how much fun I'm having painting this wall, folks. Don't you want to be painting this wall? That clever bastard somehow convinced me across hundreds of years to paint this wall for him. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. It's okay. Yeah, right, Lobster? Tom Sawyer doesn't even actually exist, or didn't even actually exist. And somehow, this is still his fault. Oh, man. If I am going to do any longer streams, I I need to invest in a more comfy chair. Because this chair, very utilitarian. And of course, as we know, prone to collapse. Ooh! Almost lost my grip there. Okay. Trying not to rest my hand in the wet paint from the areas I've already done. These little Stormcast Eternal Lightning teeth. What happened to my music? Is it just very quiet or is it gone? It says it's still playing. There it is. Yeah. Quiet track for a quiet day. So what did I say, chat? I said that I wanted to get to the end of this wall today on stream and maybe wrap around. We've got about 15 minutes left, and I am reaching the end of this wall. And we'll wrap around to the other side for a little bit of time. But we pretty much got where I wanted to be for today. I just have to finish painting this relief figure here on this pillar. I'm pretty satisfied with the progress that I made today. Tomorrow we'll do a wash on the other side of that wood plank, and we'll work on the other side of this. We made some pretty significant progress today. We moved a couple of small bits to the done category, which is satisfying. Just every day, completing a little something. Again, I will say, if you have anything you want to show off to the stream, please do post it to my Discord in the Share Your Accomplishments channel so that I can show it off next Monday, the 5th of July, which is our second monthly community art day. And I'll be working on painting a Warhammer 40k orc in a creative and entertaining way. Probably be continuing that next week. When I did the Stormcast Eternal during Community Art Day at the beginning of this month, I ended up doing it for several days. And I anticipate the same thing with the orc that I'm painting on Monday. That it is not something I will complete in a single day. It's something where I'll work on it for a few days. So I hope you folks can join me while I do that. I'm actually a little nervous about it, but also excited to do it, because I'm going to be, as usual, trying out some new techniques. It's kind of what I want to be able to do on Community Art Day, especially, is work on something interesting and new. So it's clearly not part of my regular stream. And I love having folks hang out with me while I do that. It would be nice to have some community art to look at. And here's the thing, chat. I think you're all artists, because I think all people are. You just have to find your medium. Figure out what art you want to do. And highlight that. Work on it. Art is one of those things that is satisfying to do even if you're not super good at it. It's fun just to create. And I'd love to see some of the things that people are working on. Doesn't have to be minis, of course. It can be any old art. Could be a poem. Could be a short story. Could be finger painting. Could be a watercolor. Could be a necklace or a bracelet like Pi does. Just post whatever you'd like. So that everybody else can appreciate whatever it is that you're creating. And most of all, just have fun. And you've all seen I try new things and they don't always work exactly the way I intended them to. And that's part of the learning process. I enjoy discovering new things. I enjoy learning to do new things. And I accept that not everything I do on this stream is going to be perfect. I think that's an important thing to accept. That everybody is learning, everybody is evolving. If you're ever satisfied that you have mastered your craft, I think you're stagnating. And I think you're probably lying to yourself. Because there's always something cool and interesting and new that you could be doing. And I love doing new, cool, interesting, unusual things. So there, we're done with that side, folks. We got from here all the way to the end done. Paint the top here. And I'll continue to work on this tomorrow. I'm going to log off. Tomorrow I have to do some behind the scenes work to get affiliate working for this channel. So that's going to be some phone calls, talking to some folks about art. I want to get the sub badge and sub emote, my initial sub emote going. There's a lot that I want to get done. So tomorrow's going to be a busy, ambitious day for me. And I hope it is going to lead to wonderful things for the stream in general. As always, thank you so much, folks. Because it is you, my viewers, that make all of this happen. It is you that got me to affiliate. It is you who make it worthwhile for me to do this. Just hanging out with you folks is the highlight of my day. And I look forward to many more entertaining streams as I continue to work on my craft. I will be back tomorrow morning, 10-ish Eastern. Today at 1 p.m. Eastern, so in about an hour, our good friend Insidious Pie will be playing some more Arcade Spirits. So I hope folks will tune in for that. She's got to be getting close to the end of the game. I think she did the beach episode last week. Or the week before? I don't know. I've lost track. But yeah, I hope that you will tune in for Insidious Pie, twitch.tv/InsidiousPie in about an hour. And tonight at 10 p.m. over at my wife Amanda's stream, twitch.tv/MerrimanLion, she will be continuing to read Swallows and Amazons. We'll see how the nautical war between the pirate Amazons and the brave swallows plays out. In the meantime, let me finish this pillar that I'm painting. And then I think I'm going to go get myself some lunch. Get ready to go to Battleground. There we are. All right. Good progress today, folks. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to do a little bit of varnishing off stream. Can't do that here in this place. I'll do it at Battleground. And I will see you folks tomorrow for more painting. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Be excellent to each other. And enjoy whatever art it is you choose to do. Bye, everybody.